there's more competition around these days, some Singaporeans say, for jobs, housing, even space. Also, service standards seem to have dropped, and there is also a growing gender imbalance. Well, these are some of the hot button issues we have dealt with today.
And it's inevitable that Singapore should experience such growing pains, especially if we're going the way of other developed world cities.
So guys, we're going to do a bit of crystal ball gazing here. Actually, it's more of like a calculated, informed guess of what we are seeing, playing out in Singapore right now. What do you think Singapore will be like in the next 10, 20 years?
Well, I think there are some problems that time will sort of solve for us. If we have a language barrier, for example, I do expect that to kind of diminish with time. And I think in terms of what happens historically in other cities and all that, time does seem to take care of sort of us and them kind of problem. It would be helpful if we didn't look at this as purely a numbers problem. It's actually a people problem. If we looked at it that way, in the fullness of time, I think things could work out quite nicely.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see Singapore relax a bit more. People not so rushed all the time, and being able to work from home, decide on your working hours, and also have time to spend with your family, go out to different places and celebrate life as Singaporeans.
I hope that we can, develop into a society where, while standards of living are important, we will also pay a lot of emphasis on the quality of living, right? So it's no point having one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world, but we all get frazzled by the time we get home. It is a global world, right? People are moving a lot more. People have a lot more options. And I think here the challenge is, how do we, keep Singapore as the anchor, right, for Singaporeans.
Okay, from your experience, which city would you hope Singapore will become in the near future? A world city? Or do you think we have something unique to offer to the world?
I think we should carve our own identity, right? I think we have our own unique circumstances, and I think emulating, and we can certainly draw the best practices, the good points from other cities, but I think eventually Singaporeans need to decide, what sort of city, country that we want Singapore to be.
So which city is it for you, Julian?
Well, I don't think there's a city that we should emulate, but I would like to sort of propose a sort of openness to the unbidden in terms of how we evolve as a city. I wouldn't want us to be like Paris, for example, where people are not happy if there's a new McDonald's down the street because it's not French enough or something like that. There's a very strong identity there, but sure, I don't think it's healthy. If we have the mindset that there will be new people coming in, and if we embrace the sort of diversity that it brings, it can become a very vibrant place. We've already got a very strong identity, and I think it's possible to build on this identity, ironically, if we have all this sort of diversity coming in.
It's a country I visited, and the reason why I choose this country is because it's Bhutan. They look at things like, they don't look at GDP, but they look at gross national happiness. And I'd like to see the focus of Singapore change to, instead of just money, how quality of life and happiness.
But well, don't forget, some of the largest cities in the world really have huge populations. We're talking about inevitable consequences due to economic growth, right?
And looking at these developed cities like Hong Kong, Tokyo and New York, as much as they are well developed, they also have their fair share of challenges similar to what Singapore is facing right now.
Yeah, that's right, So what we can learn from them and the various, cities that we like, we've lived in, we've played in, is to adjust, learn from them, to adjust, grow, and, move along. The larger cities are well developed, yes, and successful because they have managed to stay relevant by accepting the inflow of talent and tapping on each other's cultures.
Yes, that's right. And a lot of it will depend on how willing we are to adjust, really, if we want to if we are talking about integration and facing all these changes along the way. And in the process, the fabric of society might change, but it's really the ethos of our people, of what it means to be Singaporean, that will make all the difference.
So are we overcrowded here? Are there too many people on this little island? Yes, yes, and yes. But we have other things to consider, besides the physical space crunch we're facing, and that's where the future of Singapore will lie, I guess. So thanks, Eugene, May, and Julian for chatting with us. This has been Point Blank.